Welcome back to Ripple Effect, the podcast where we share the voices of those forever changed by homicide. I'm Tony, and today we have another deeply moving conversation that sheds light on the heartbreaking impacts of violence.
I know my son was greatly loved. 18 wonderful years with him. I can't complain about now one of them.
A teen loved by so many, his loved ones hugging each other as they grieve the loss of Cameron Turner. The 18-year-old had hopes of playing college football. That dream taken by gun violence. His grandfather says he's heartbroken without Cameron.
And we love him. We gonna always love him. I miss my dude, man. I miss my dude. I've been crying, and I'm gonna cry some more. But we loved him.
Cameron's grandparents tell me he was celebrating a friend's birthday when someone opened fire. 2 other teens were also shot. It happened around 1 a.m. on Sunday at a home in the Slavic Village neighborhood.
Here you have teenagers who want to be teenagers and be a part of celebrating someone else's birthday. And then you have some others, monsters, who want to take it from them.
Stop for a moment and show your support. Like, share, and subscribe so you never miss our next upload. Your engagement helps us reach more people, spread awareness, and keep the conversation going. Stay connected and be part of the movement. Our guest today knows this pain firsthand. She lost her grandson to violence, and today she's here to share her journey, her love for him, the day that changed everything, and how she continues to honor his memory. Tell us about your grandson's personality.
Cameron had an amazing personality. He was well liked, well loved. Every time you seen him, he was smiling. He was just a bubbly, your average teenager. He didn't like drama. He wanted everybody to be happy and get along. And that was Cameron.
What would you say were some of his proudest achievements?
Him running track and playing football. He loved sports. He loved sports. He and his brother would sit in the basement and watch TV, watch sports together. And that's what I love. I love their bonding time.
What were his interests and dreams that were cut short as a result of his death?
Him wanting to go to college and play football. And then when he was supposed to graduate in December of 23, he would have had a job working for the city of Cleveland.
What was your relationship like with Cameron?
We had a very good relationship. I used to challenge him to dance songs. He'd look at me and laugh. And he'd tell me never to wear leggings because grandmas don't wear leggings. He was something else.
What were some of his most memorable qualities?
His most memorable qualities is the way he interacted with people. Cameron was very loving. He was kind. He didn't like drama or anything like that. He wanted everybody to be treated right, you know. He would never see someone with a handicap or anything or laugh and talk about it. He didn't like stuff like that. No. So, you don't hurt people who can't help themselves. You help them. That's how Cameron was.
And what type of relationship do you know of him to have with others?
Him and his friends, it went beyond friendship. Like I said, if they could have been siblings, they would have been siblings. Because the friendship that I've seen them with, his male and female friends, it was just pure love. Pure love.
Thinking back, were there ways that you specifically supported him emotionally and spiritually?
Yeah, I'd always tell him, Cameron, you better get it together. I'm like, because God sees everything. He knows everything. I said, so if you're out here doing something you're not supposed to, and then he cut me off, Mama, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not doing anything wrong. He's like, I'm not bothering anybody, things like that. But even though I knew he wasn't out here doing anything, he had no business, I would say that just to keep him on his toes.
What were some specific lessons or values you instilled in him?
How to treat others, how to treat others. And I would always tell him and his siblings, you don't like a person because of their skin color. I said, if you have to honestly dislike a person, you dislike them for something that they did against you. I said, and not necessarily a person. You just say, I just hate what they did, not the person, because all kind of demonic spirits are out here, using people. I said, so, and to be honest and to be safe, Cameron, Devin, and Carly, I say you hate her. It's not hate. I said, but you dislike a person because they've committed something against you.
And how do you think that those values shaped him?
I think they shaped him pretty good because, like I said, his relationships with his friends were wonderful. Wonderful.
And how would you describe his role in your family?
Caring. Always caring about his sister, about her feelings, how she feels about something. She could come talk to him about anything. He would never judge her or laugh at whatever she had to say. He was there as a big brother.
Would you be okay with me asking you some questions about details of the incident, in case some people don't recall the situation and may be able to help bring his killer to justice? Where was he that day, and who do you know of him being with?
He and his friends, they all went out to a Airbnb, supposedly Airbnb, a birthday party. And his friend at the hospital was telling us right when they were getting ready to leave, he said they had just turned to leave and they heard shots. He said Cameron was in front of him and Cameron fell. And he pulled him back into the house. Bullet came through the wall and got Cameron in the back of the head and struck him at the stem part of the brain where everything functions.
Were there any unusual behaviors or maybe arguments before the incident?
No, that's what we asked. His friends were like, no, everybody was there. Either he said they were leaning up against the wall on their phones, and some people, he said, they were actually on the floor dancing. He said, but nobody was out of line with each other. He said everybody was there getting along, and even the people outside. Because one little girl, she was shot outside, and she was outside with a few of her friends. And when she got shot, her friends covered her, and she got shot in the back of her head and in her back. And last time I talked with her mom, she's still having challenges. She wakes up through the night screaming.
Do you suspect that there were any unresolved issues with people that could have caused this?
It could have been a number of things. Could have been jealousy. Could have been somebody not wanting a person to celebrate their birthday. It could have been a number of stupid things. Mm-hmm. No one will really know what the reason is until they apprehend the person.
What has the police shared with you about that day?
Absolutely nothing, except for the fact that over 300 people that they interviewed all had nothing but good things to say about Cameron. And with that being said, then how come you're not out here fighting for him?
So they haven't had any tips or leads from the community?
Not as far as I'm concerned, no.
Do you think that fear and mistrust of the judicial system would prevent witnesses from speaking up?
Definitely. And not to mention the fear and mistrust of the police officers. Because any little black or brown person they see walking while black, standing while black, they want to apprehend. So their distrust right there is shot. And even if they did know anything about criminal activity out here, they're not going to share it with the police. Why should they help you when you're not trying to protect and serve those who need it? So yeah, that trust has been blown out the water years ago.
What do you think needs to change to prevent our families from experiencing these tragedies?
More faith in God, more unity, more prayer.
Is there anything you think might encourage somebody to come forward?
I really don't know. Only thing I can do is just hope and pray that God tugs at their heart and tug to the point where they just can't keep it inside anymore. If they know something, say something.
How has this tragedy affected your family and you personally?
It's affected me. A lot of things I used to do, I don't do anymore. Like I'm more so stuck in the house now. It's not that I don't want to, I just choose not to do anything. Um, it's affected my daughter, Cameron's mother, and quite naturally, a mother or a father is going to take a toll on it. It's affected my son, his uncle, and my baby girl, his aunt. It affected all of us and their grandfather. And, but we have to keep moving on because if Cameron could come and talk to us, he would tell us, I'm okay. Do what you have to do, but fight for me and get this person apprehended. He said, but I'm good.
What's been the hardest part of coping with Cameron's loss?
Him not just being here. Because there's days I sit and I think, and I'm like, if that boy was here, what would he be doing now? Would he have a girlfriend? Would he have his car? I think about things like that. And I'm like, but I know he would have that smile on his face. He would have that smile.
What are the specific ways that you honor Cameron today, his memory?
Well, we celebrate his birthday every year and invite his friends, and they all come out to his grandfather's house. And we just sit around and we laugh and we talk about the things that Cameron did, and what he would have done.
Since you've been the community outreach specialist at Casualties of Homicide Society, you've had a brief opportunity of meeting with the family of a homicide victim. How do you believe your lived experience was helpful in that situation?
Because you listen to their experience. You share a little bit of what you went through, and you let them know that's how you're able to do what you do. But then you listen to them. You let them vent, you let them kick, you let them scream, and you just listen. And that's how you go on.
What are some suggestions that you would give a family that's lost someone to violence within the last 30 days?
Grieve in your own time. Grieve how you grieve. No one can tell you how to grieve. Grieving is a process. For some, it's a long process. For some, it's a short process. For some, it's a quiet process. You just have to grieve how you grieve.
Our pain makes it difficult for us to comprehend forgiveness. How would you tell someone from your experience to deal with forgiveness of the person that took your grandson?
Pray, ask God. You don't want any animosity, any bitterness, any anger, any hatred in your heart. Because with all of that in your heart, you can't move on. It keeps you stagnant. You cannot move on. And then you'll just keep building this hate and hate and hate and hate. And then eventually you get this sickness in your body where you can't move on. You can't get out the bed. You can't do that. You have to forgive. I mean, you might not do it right away, but like with me, I had to ask God, God, help me to forgive, because right now I can't, because they took my grandson from me. So it's a process. That's also a process. And if you're being honest and you're talking to God, God will hear you and He will heal you. He will take that bitterness and anger away, because when the day comes for court and you're sitting there with the person there, you'll sit there and you'll be like, I don't know how I got through it, but you got through it through the grace of God, and that's all you can call on is God.
Well, some of our board members have their reasons for deciding to work with this nonprofit organization. Can you put into words for us what motivated you to become a peer crisis sponsor for Casualties of Homicide Society?
Because it's also a chance for us to move on and help others. Some might say it's also a grieving, it's our way of giving back. This is how we grieve, because we're helping others. And knowing that you're helping someone who went through what you went through, you tell yourself, and this is how I get through it, they have to get to where I'm at. Because when I was where they were at, that was not a pretty place. So until they get to where we're at, we can keep moving forward and helping others.
What can the public do to raise awareness about your grandson's unsolved case?
If you know something, say something. Because whoever done it, right now they're thinking that they got away with murder. And who's to say that they might be thinking about snubbing somebody else's life? They got to get them before they do it again.
What do you want people to remember most about Camerin?
That Cameron was a good guy. He was a loving guy, always had a smile on his face, and he never liked drama. Never liked drama. Didn't want to be around it.
If he could talk to you today, what do you think he'd want to say to you and to the rest of your family?
He'd tell us that he loves us and he's okay, and he wants us to move on.
What message do you have for the person or persons that should be held accountable for Cameron's loss of life?
You really think you got away with something, but you really didn't. God knows all and sees all. He sits high and looks low, and he knows exactly what you did. And if you have an ounce of conscience in your body, talk to God, ask God to help you get through this, and turn yourself in.
Thank you for sharing Cameron's memory with us today.
The Ripple Effect podcast by Casualties of Homicide Society is now available on YouTube and Spotify. It's a powerful platform for you to honor and memorialize a loved one lost to homicide while raising awareness about unsolved cases. By sharing stories and experiences, we give a voice to families seeking justice and healing. Tune in, share, and help us make a lasting impact, because every story deserves to be heard. Contact us by the information provided.